Welcome to Represent NYC on the Manhattan Neighborhood Network. I'm lucky enough to be joined today by State Senator Brian Benjamin, who represents the 30th District in New York. And I really am excited to talk to him. Hi, Brian. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Really, really good. Good to see you.
Good. Good to see you as well.
You recently had the Eric Garner Chokehold Act signed.
Correct.
Obviously, this is crucial and important. Talk to me about how this came about. This has been a long time coming.
A long time coming. This bill was been around since 2014, and I think one of the issues that occurred was that, and you saw this in the trial with Officer Pantaleo, the defense was able to make the case that while it is true that Officer Pantaleo used the banned chokehold on Eric Garner, because the chokehold wasn't defined in criminal statute, therefore you were not able to get a particular criminal offense just on that. You had to make the case, there was strangulation was the issue, or murder or manslaughter. And the jury was not prepared to call it strangulation, manslaughter, or murder. So therefore, what we did, just to be safe, to say, okay, the chokehold or a similar restraint, which could also be a knee to the neck, because if you obstruct,
About restricting.
There you go. Any of that obstruction that leads to serious physical injury or death, that in and of itself is a Class C felony, violent felony, which can land you up to 15 years in prison, period. And if this bill was in law before what happened to Eric Garner, Pantaleo would be in jail right now.
So can I just ask a question that might seem
Sure.
pretty simple?
Sure.
To choke somebody to death, and I'm not a cop, right? So if I
Right.
choked somebody to death,
Right.
it would be a crime.
Strangulation would be yes, it would be.
Why wouldn't it still be a crime if you're a cop? Why do we need to be so specific about this thing for it to be considered a crime?
Yeah, because what happens is, particularly when you're dealing with police officers and civilians, there tends to become gray area that can be used like, well, he wasn't trying to do it. There was the police.
He's trying to control the situation.
Trying to control, right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all this wiggle room that always seeps into a conversation whenever it's a police civilian.
Because if I understand it, it's in their manual that they were not supposed to be using any sort of restrictive to the artery here that cuts off blood to the brain.
Exactly.
So now it's also a law that matches what's in their manual.
That's correct. So the good news is that because we've taken away that discretion, no one can be confused. If you perform a chokehold, a similar restraint, right? We know what it looks like. We saw it in Minneapolis. That in and of itself, prison time. And I think that kind of accountability sort of sets the tone that police know that they're not above the law. And that to me is a big part of this whole premise is no one's above the law. And we expect our police to be accountable at a higher level than anyone else because we give them so much authority because they have the power to mete out lethal force.
You had a press conference with Eric Garner's mother, correct?
Yes. So the governor signed the bill this last Friday, and we had a press conference with her in the community on Saturday morning. And part of the reason why we did that is because we wanted all the protesters and all those people who have been supporting her, activists, you name it. She wanted to come and tell people in the streets where, the effort really kind of waged to help us get to this point. Thank you. And that she couldn't be more happier of all of us for finally delivering justice. Not full justice, because Pantaleo is still walking, but at least she knows, and we named it the Eric Garner Anti-Chokehold Act, at least she knows that, no other mother would have to deal with this kind of a consequence without there being jail time. I mean, it's got to be hard. Your son died in this kind of horrendous way, very graphic way that the whole world has seen, and to not have some form of justice for that it's got to be really hard. And so, the fact that we were able to pass a law that can have her say, you know what, well, at least this is going to happen going forward. it was a proud moment for me as a legislator to be able to deliver that.
That's powerful. Thank you so much, State Senator Brian Benjamin.
Thank you.